Greetings to you, the lucky finder of this movie debate podcast. In your wildest dreams, you could not imagine that such things would happen to you. Each combatant enters with a specific movie topic, each choosing one film per topic. The debate commences once the judge decrees the topic is open. Each player will be judged on 5 different categories. The winner of Film Eat Film will be determined by the total number of points won. There are 3 total points, 1 for each round. 2 films will enter, 1 film will leave. This is Film Eat Film.
Woo!
Yeah. Welcome everybody, I am your host, Ben Ciske. With me today we have Damon, Choke Job, Gumbert, and Joey. I play karate in the front yard by myself, Niemi. What's up guys, how you feeling?
It's going great, man.
That was better until you said that.
Well, that's what I'm here for. We also have Scott Niemi in the background as our fact checker.
The icebox is in the house.
Icebox Niemi. Alright boys, in case you missed it in my intro, I did mention there will be 5 different things you'll be graded on. Because this is the first Film Eat Film podcast, I will just briefly go over them. The first thing that you'll be graded on is the understanding of topic. The second thing is organization and time management. You will have 5 minutes to debate your movie. Within that 5 minutes, how well are you using that time? Also, your arguments. That's the third thing you'll be graded on. Your main points. And then the fourth thing is the evidence or examples that back up those main points. And finally, the rebuttal. Prior to the show, we did do the honorary coin flip, and Damon won and chose to go second. So we are going to start with Joey's pick.
My pick was novel to film movies.
Novel to film movies. Alright, so I'm going to set the timer. Joey, you have 5 minutes. I'll give you a heads up towards the end of that 5 minutes. And then, Damon, be ready, be listening, because you will get a chance to rebuttal. The topic is now open.
Alright, so my film is Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, coming out in 2003, PG-13. Great film all around here. You have great cinematography, great directing by Peter Jackson, who actually won Best Director. We got very good writing, we got very good content, we got action. Basically, the first 2 films are building up to this whole showdown, pretty much. So you got great, tremendous action with pretty decent comedy relief from Gimli and the Hobbits, Pippin and Merry. So let's see, overall, it actually won 11 Oscars, which was amazing, including Best Picture, I believe, Best Director, and others. So basically what you have in this movie is a pretty good from the movie, or from the book to the movie. You really these actors really embody these characters, and when you go back to read the book, you see these characters as the people in the book because they do such a swell job in the movie. And I believe that Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King was also really good. The charge, that's one of the biggest horse charges in cinematic history here. That's very impressive, and he was able to, there was a lot of, I watched behind the scenes on that, there was a lot of tiebacks and problems with it, but he was still able to shoot it within a reasonable time frame, which takes immense director skill on Peter Jackson's part. And the cinematography when Gandalf and Pippin ride up to Minas Tirith, oh man, I thought Helm's Deep was something, but wow. The White City just pales any city in that whole realm, because it's just breathtaking. He rides up. The battle sequences are just so spot on. You got the overrun of Osgiliath. You get so into it too, because it really sucks you in. It's almost like you're right there in the action. It's a really great movie, and the cast do, like I said, a very good job. You got Orlando Bloom as Legolas. He's very great with the accent he kind of pulls off in that movie a bit. And then you got Viggo, who is, I don't know, it's Viggo Mortensen. I personally haven't seen him in a lot of films, but if I had to say number 1 performance, I'd probably give it to him in this film. Aragorn, I don't think anybody remembers Viggo Mortensen for anything other than Aragorn at this point.
Hidalgo.
Oh, Hidalgo. We got, also, I looked up, little fun fact, actually made IMDb's top movie list in number 8. That's top 10.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Internet Movie Database, they have a lot of movies.
Alright, that was 3 minutes long. You still have 2 minutes. Is there anything else you want to go over?
That's about it.
Pretty confident. Alright, I'm going to stop the clock here. And Damon, you are going to get a fresh 5 minutes to go over
No Country for Old Men.
And the topic is open.
All right, so my movie was, as I just said, No Country for Old Men. I actually went and read the book after watching the movie, and they fit together so well. I feel like the Coen brothers who wrote the movie, co-wrote the movie, did a fantastic job of bringing it to life. It's probably one of the best adapted screenplays. So good that they actually won the Oscar for adapted screenplay, as well as Best Picture and Best Director, and Best Supporting Actor for Javier Bardem. So there's a lot of esteem there. The original book was written by Cormac McCarthy, who's a fantastic writer. I think this is one of his books that actually became a national bestseller. And not to mention, they also were nominated for Best Film Editing, Best Cinematography, Best Sound Editing, and Best Sound Mixing. So this is arguably one of the best Coen Brothers movies on a long list of fantastic Coen Brothers movies. Great acting all around. Obviously, Bardem won the award, but there was also Josh Brolin doing a fantastic job. Woody Harrelson coming in at points doing a fantastic job. Tommy Lee Jones reviving his career after, kind of being missing for years, coming in and doing a fantastic job. And just, in my opinion, this is the best of all movies that have been adapted from books into movies. Not taking anything away from the first two Lord of the Rings movies. There's a lot to be said for this movie. The amount that the craziness of Javier Bardem's character and what he was able to do with that, where he's someone that most people who have seen the movie will never forget him. I forget what his first name is, but I know his last name, Sugar, which in the book, Josh Brolin's character keeps calling Sugar Man because that's how he pronounces the last name. But I really just, after reading the book, having that picture of the movie, as you were saying, you could go back, you could see the characters, and it's so easy because almost everything from the book was adapted so well into the movie, much better than a lot of books are adapted into movies. I mean, you can take like The Shining, which was adapted into Kubrick's The Shining, and it's just completely different, where this is like the exact opposite, where it feels like they didn't even have to do much because they had such a fantastic book and they just were like, just make the movie. I mean, the script is right here. It's a book. And that is, in my opinion, how you know that a movie, an adapted movie is really special, is when they can turn that book into a movie and that doesn't lose quality. It actually, like, you can go back and be like, I know this part because it was in the movie, like it rings in your head. Like there's a section from the book where Josh Brolin's character is like stuck behind a truck while someone is like circling him basically, and reading that you can like picture exactly what is happening because that's how vivid it was in the movie. It just they did a really good job. The Coen brothers, I applaud them. 45
seconds left if you need it.
So, Coen brothers, fantastic. Bardem, fantastic. No, that's it. I can't stretch it any longer.
Sounds good. All right, gentlemen. That is almost the end of the first round, but now here comes Damon's favorite part, the rebuttal. You are only going to get 2 minutes to rebuttal the other person's film. Joey, you actually are going to get to go first, so hopefully you were taking notes and listening, and your time starts now.
Alright, well, I feel like Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King is a superior novel of film creation to No Country for Old Men is just because of the basically the world that it really brings you into. I mean, you walk out of the theater and you're just like, wow, you know, like they also won best costume design and makeup effects, and I think like you really see, like, never once are you looking at an orc or anything in that movie thinking that that's definitely a guy dressed up. Like, no, that isn't orc. And I mean, I think it's really hard to compare it to No Country for Old Men, where it's just people, but
different genres.
I think yeah, indeed. But I think I mean, maybe it was a directing effect, but they really kind of went like generic with the whole costume design. I feel like in No Country for Old Men, I mean, it's just classic cowboys, and the only person who's not really rocking a cowboy hat in that movie is the assassin. So I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it plays a little too much on the classic dress code for that. And as for the content, really, it's just, I mean, there are certain few minutes in The Return of the King where there's a little bit of a lull, but I mean, you watch No Country for Old Men and like a lot of the movie is kind of like a lull. Like, it's him finding the money, running with the money, and then once he finds out there's a guy after him, that's when it really starts. And if you really track the movie, it's really not that long of a time that he's really getting chased down and freaking out about this guy. Like, it is, of course, suspenseful and action-packed, but I feel like Return of the King really takes the cake on the content. And as far as, like, you ask somebody what's a movie made, or a book made into a movie, I guarantee one of the Lord of the Rings is immediately going to come up.
All right, that's actually 2 minutes exactly. Damon, you have 2 minutes to rebuttal Joey. Your time starts now.
Yes, if you ask people a book that has been made into a movie, they're going to go with the Harry Potters before they go with Lord of the Rings. But that is neither here nor there. Just saying, Lord of the Rings isn't going to be like the first movie anyone thinks of. Especially not the third Lord of the Rings. If they're going to think of one, it would have been Fellowship or Two Towers. The third Lord of the Rings was a 3.5 hour movie, something like that went on for about a half an hour too long. There was the 4 endings, or the 3 or 4 endings, that just dragged on and on and on. Like, who gives a shit what Sam's doing after everyone leaves? Literally no one. Where, like, I would rather watch a 2-hour Coen Brothers movie that is suspenseful and thrilling than watching anything Peter Jackson made, especially the third. Well, no, the Hobbit movies were terrible. But including so now Ben, including the third Lord of the Rings movie, because it just goes on for far too long. None of the acting was really that good. Orlando Bloom's natural voice is that accent. He didn't actually have an accent. He's British. Viggo Mortensen did much better in Fellowship than he did in the Return of the King. Return of the King?
That's the movie.
That's the movie. Okay. I was, for some reason, thinking it was something different.
20 seconds.
Anyway. The acting in No Country for Old Men, the directing in No Country for Old Men is superior to anything Peter Jackson's done, especially the overhyped and overdone third Lord of the Rings movie.
All right, gentlemen, that was an excellent first round. Let's go back to a couple things here. First, I want to check in with Icebox Niemi over there. Was there anything you caught that either of these two said that might not have been accurate?
Ben, it's pretty clean over here, but I will say one thing. Tommy Lee Jones has been in a few movies before No Country for Old Men. Damon had stated that he wasn't doing anything until that.
Whoa.
He had a film from 2003 on, and even before that. So that was the only thing I caught. Everything else was clean.
Was it Men in Black by chance?
Men in Black.
Man in the House?
Man in the House.
Oh, yeah.
Space
Classic.
Cowboys.
Space Cowboys was before that. 3 Burials of Melquiades Estrada.
Listen to all these movies. Damon, get
Prairie Home Companion.
I have never heard of any of these movies.
You never seen
The Missing.
No, Men in Black I got.
The Missing, The Hunted.
Prairie-
Yeah, the only time he skipped was between 2000 and 2002 when it was Space Cowboys in 2000, Men in Black 2002.
Your winner of the first round is Damon Gumbert.
Hi.
It was actually fairly close. I think Joey had a stronger rebuttal, and I wish you actually would have said some of the points in your rebuttal in your actual argument. I think you had some pretty good points. I feel like you talked more about your movie than his movie in the rebuttal, which I gave you 5 minutes to do, and you didn't even fill the full 5 minutes. So I feel like that hurt you a little bit, and I think Damon had a little bit of a better understanding of the topic. But with that said, this is far from over. We are on to our second round, and I believe the category is one of my personal favorites, rom-coms.
Romantic comedies.
Romantic
Damon obviously
comedies.
chose that one.
Yeah, dude.
So we're going to switch things up a little bit, and Damon is actually going to go first here.
Hello.
Damon, you're going to have 5 minutes to argue your movie, and your time starts now.
All right. So I chose When Harry Met Sally, arguably one of the best romantic comedies of all time.
Well, that's what you're here to do.
Yep. And good point. So for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, which I'm assuming there's at least one person in this room who hasn't, the movie is about Harry Burns and Sally Albright, played by Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan. They meet leaving college from Chicago. They drive to New York together. They have a plethora of conversations along the way, which are just fantastic to listen to. Billy Crystal is at his best in this movie. Then they get to New York. They go their separate ways. They have this little fake ending of the movie where they both say, "Have a nice life," like they're never going to see each other again. And then the film picks up 5 years down the road. They see each other again. They start talking. They're on a plane together. They start having more conversations that are just amazing. Billy Crystal, again, is just so good in this movie. Then they go their separate ways again. A few years later, they meet up. Billy Crystal had just gone through a divorce. Meg Ryan had just gotten dumped. And they decide to finally become friends. And from there, it's a very quick road from their friendship into eventually becoming romantic partners. And that's how the movie ends, is they actually get married. It's honestly one of the most fantastic movies I've ever watched. It's the dialogue is amazing. The directing from Rob Reiner is amazing. Nora Ephron wrote the screenplay. May she rest in peace. And it is so fantastic. There was a couple things I was reading earlier where they compared it to like early Woody Allen movies where the dialogue is just so quick and so witty, and it's just so good. It is critically lauded. No, that's not the right word. Critically applauded. It has an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not that anyone cares. It was nominated for Best Screenplay for Nora Ephron at the Oscars. It is nominated for Directors Guild Awards for Rob Reiner, Actors Guild Awards, Screen Actors Guild Awards for Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal. Countless other awards from countless other award ceremonies. It is high on the list of romantic comedy of all time. I would place it number one, far ahead of The Wedding Singer. And I feel like the thing that brought me to the movie was the writing, but it does have fantastic other aspects. The acting, obviously. Meg Ryan. This is an iconic movie because of the Meg Ryan fake orgasm scene, which I think everyone has at least seen one parody of. Joey. Fake orgasm scene,
Joey.
right? Okay.
No, I've never seen the
Whatever.
movie.
You're just a freak.
I'll have what she's having.
Yeah.
Never seen that movie.
Oh my
either.
god.
No, it's that movie. It's the line.
That's okay. Whatever. Then the final line or the final dialogue from Billy Crystal about why he's in love with her has been parodied as well. It's just, you can take multiple parts from this movie and they're like iconic throughout the history of film.
You got 4 minutes left. Is there any other
4 minutes?
Or sorry, you have 1 minute left. Is there
Yeah.
any other examples you want to go over of maybe why it's a comedy?
Yeah, I think. I mean, obviously Billy Crystal is hilarious in general, but in this movie, the way he acts, the dialogue he says, they dive in a lot on sex, and his opinions on sex and relationships are just so bonkers. I'm gonna use that word because that's how I'm feeling right now.
Sure.
And their back and forths are generally hilarious. The whole movie is based on the dialogue. It's that the comedy, the heartfeltness, the romanticism. It's all dialogue based, and it's some of the best dialogue ever.
All right, Joey, you have 5 minutes to debate your movie, and then we'll get into rebuttals. Your time starts now.
Alright, so I went with The Wedding Singer for my romantic comedy. Classic 98 film. We got a classic Sandler lineup film here. Back when he was still relevant. So
Trev.
we got The Wedding Singer, Adam Sandler, and he's about to get engaged. Doesn't end up working. Ends up meeting this really nice girl. Enter Drew Barrymore, back when she was still relevant. And yeah, they're hitting it off, but she's set to be married. So that causes a whole fucking thing. And then, yeah. So the reason why I chose this for I mean, it's kind of a cheesy movie, but I feel like if you're talking about romantic comedies, you kind of have to have a certain cheesiness to that. I think it kind of sets up better comedic situations, and at the same time, it really makes the romantic parts romantic. And I mean, we got Sandler. Come on, classic Sandler. He was really funny back then. You got the comedy there, that guy alone. But also you got the special appearance of Steve Buscemi in there playing the drunk best man.
Best guitar player in the world. Self-taught, thank you very much for that.
Falls off the edge of the loading dock, just pissed up, breaking his glass. But then you have the romance. Okay, this guy is not only really in love, he gets his heart broken, which I think is also an important part in romantic comedies. You see it in the John Cusack rom-com, I forget the name. He's dating the girl and he works in the record store. And
Yeah.
High Fidelity.
High Fidelity.
Yeah, I
Fantastic
mean,
movie.
he's
Great movie.
heartbroken through pretty much the whole movie. I also feel like another iconic rom-com. So
Oh, for sure.
heart
You should
like
pick that.
heart tugging, like heartbreak, I think also really fits with rom-coms. And Adam Sandler does get that to like the fullest extent. Left at the altar, basically. He's miserable, almost just basically ruining his career as a wedding singer on top of that. So this guy's got like multiple problems adding to his heartbreak. And then he still comes back and has this fateful chance with this girl. I feel like you also have to have the asshole. The asshole new or boyfriend of the desired girl. And we also see that in High Fidelity.
You really should have picked that movie.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? This was the only thing that came to mind. I mean, so you got Glenn, the jackass. Glenn's only into material things. Fancy cars, CD players. So, obviously to see Adam Sandler, you want to see him come out on top, but against this dude, you really want him to come out on top. And with Drew Barrymore's character, she's obviously just a sweet, innocent girl, so you want to see her have a good ending.
All right.
Ending early again.
Ending early again, but confident.
That's true.
Damon, you are going to get to go first. All right, so you have 2 minutes, Damon,
All right.
and your time starts now.
All right. So The Wedding Singer is like Adam Sandler's like 8th best movie, and probably 4th best rom-com. But beyond that, the superiority of When Harry Met Sally to The Wedding Singer is on multiple levels. And When Harry Met Sally, you don't need the asshole because Billy Crystal plays both characters. Like, he's an asshole and he is, like, the charming one. And that feels more real. It feels more relatable, where he can go from 1 second just, like, saying something that pisses her off to the next second saying something charming. Because that's generally what men in real life do, not men in Adam Sandler movies where they just, you know, have to overcome the odds against the big guy who is a dickhead, which is the plot of every Adam Sandler movie. And it's more relatable because anyone who's ever, like, dated or tried to date a girl knows that, like, it is from 1 second you can go saying something really, really nice that really gets them, like, yeah, I really want to date this guy, to the next second being like, fuck you, dude, like, I hate you. And that is more real life than anything that happened in The Wedding Singer, especially Billy goddamn Idol being anywhere involved. Just didn't really understand why The Wedding Singer was involved in this. I really thought you should have used High Fidelity now. I just think, in general, When Harry Met Sally is a better movie.
Joey, you've got 2 minutes to rebuttal Damon's movie. Your time starts now.
First off, I'd like to hit on the more relatable part. More relatable, you say, is he randomly runs into her and then randomly runs into the same girl who he hit it off with 5 years down the road. I just really don't see that as being relatable, because anybody who I haven't been into contact with for 5 years, I never end up seeing again. So
Your life isn't as interesting as...
That I don't really understand. Also, yeah, I pretty much hit on the random meanings there too. So, like I said, with I feel comes with romantic comedies comes the asshole, which you hit on. But I feel like having that separate character really does add a lot more to the film. Not just another character in itself, but you have a whole nother personality, a whole nother set of dialogue, basically a whole nother attitude that this coveted woman has for another man, making it that much more challenging, making, I mean, debatably open for more comedic instances. Also, what I feel like we're also not getting in When Harry Met Sally is potentially the big heartache of this guy longing for this girl, like, a lot. It doesn't really sound like, I haven't seen the movie personally, but from what you've described, it really doesn't sound like this guy is, like, anguishing a decent amount of the time for this girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that is a really important part, because, again, it shows you not just the romanticism, but for when you go for the win back or the win over of the girl, it just leaves you open for a plethora of just funny things you could really do. And I feel like, I mean, those sounded like they were lacking in When Harry Met Sally, which you're going to get with a Adam Sandler rom-com, for sure.
Awesome.
Can we just address how he pronounced plethora?
No, we cannot.
Damn it.
Alright, I do need to tally this up, so give me a quick second. Before we do that, I'd like to go back to our man with the plan. By that, I mean the man with the laptop fact-checking everything. Scott Icebox Niemi. Scott?
Yeah, Ben, nothing to really clean up here, just a few things to add. Damon mentioned the writing in When Harry Met Sally. Nora Ephron actually lost out to Tom Schulman in the 1990 Academy Awards for Dead Poets Society.
Great movie.
Good movie. Yeah.
We also had ratings from IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, both in favor of When Harry Met Sally.
Hello.
Relatively closer, though, than what I expected. For IMDb scores, we have a 7.6 for When Harry Met Sally and a 6.8 for The Wedding Singer. 89% for When Harry Met Sally and 67% for The Wedding Singer. 2%. However, 80% liked The Wedding Singer and 89% liked When Harry Met Sally. Those are audience scores. So
Yeah.
closer than I thought.
Well, unfortunately for Damon, those mean absolutely nothing if he can't back them up himself.
That's true.
The tallies are in, and I must say, Damon, who do you think won this round?
Joey.
Joey, who do you think won this
I
round?
think I took this one on.
Well, you're both wrong. It was actually a tie.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, see, I thought Joey had a really strong rebuttal. I think he actually hit on a lot of things that I agreed with, and since I'm the judge, that's pretty big. I think you do need that asshole in the rom-com, because it totally does add another element. It adds more dialogue. It adds the opportunity for one of my favorite things, which is a nice burn. So I did like that. Damon, I think, had better evidence, way better evidence to support his arguments. I like how he just immediately said his movie was a better film, and then backed it up with facts about like directing, writing, dialogue, things like that. I think you both had a pretty good understanding of the topic, a lot better than the first round. So that was kind of a wash. Joey, I gotta tell you, your time management is really killing you. If you could have went longer than 3 minutes, you would have won that round. So with that said, the rule is this: if it is a tie, we go to the man with the plan, Scott Icebox Niemi. He is going to read you a trivia question.
Interesting.
She.
First person to respond with the correct answer to the trivia question read by Icebox Niemi will get the point.
Do we get buzzers? Should I just like slap the
Thank
table?
you, Ben. Here's what we'll do. We will go with first person to slap down on the table and give
Hands on your knees.
me the correct answer. Ben will watch as I read. I need to just flip. How many flips? Damon, you are leading 1-0. How many flips do you want me to scroll through this deck?
4.
All right, 4 times, and then I'll stop. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Let me finish the entire quote. Listen to them. Children of the night, what music they make. Listen to them. Children of the night, what music they make.
No penalty for wrong answer. Joey!
My God damn it! I just had it.
That's not the answer.
5, 4, 3,
Forgot.
2.
It's gone.
It's
All
a
right.
wash. Next question.
Damon, you don't know?
No.
All right.
What was
Joey,
it?
what?
What was it?
It was Dracula.
Oh, okay. Never would have got that. No.
All right. How many scrolls, Joe?
Let's go with 3.
1, 2, 3. All right. Here we go. Wait till I finish. Well, looky here. It's a human Q-tip. Well, looky here. It's a human Q-tip. Damon.
Napoleon Dynamite.
That is incorrect. Joey for the win. 5,
4.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Fucking no.
All right.
Alright, just pick one.
All right. Here we go.
Just do a good one.
Here we go. This will be easy.
This one's easy. Get
All
ready,
right,
gentlemen.
Here it comes. Houston, we have a problem.
Apollo 13.
Oh.
And Joey Niemi.
Damon was quick too.
That means, Damon, that was a very, very good effort. That means the score is 1-1.
Wow.
Damon,
Alright.
No 3-0.
Damon will not be able to get the 3-0. So,
Oh.
going into the third round, which is a bonus round, you could be up 2-0. You might think, what is the point of the third round? Well, for the person that might be up 2-0, they can get the 3-0 score, which is very highly
Highly coveted, Ben.
highly coveted. Thank you.
Very good.
And if you're losing 0-2, it's just bragging rights that you didn't get swept. In this case, we're going into the third round 1-1, so this will actually pretty much declare a winner.
This is huge.
This is big. The third round is my favorite round. You know why?
Because you got to pick
got
the
to
thing.
pick
Because I got to pick the topic. With that said, the third round, the topic is space movies. We are going to do a coin flip to see who goes first. Damon, because you're to my left, and that matters for no reason. You call it in the air. Heads or tails? It is heads. Joey, do you want to go first or second?
I'd like to go second.
Second. All right. That's a good choice. All right, Damon, you know the drill.
Let that
5
bitch go
minutes.
first.
Tell us your movie. You tell us your movie and carry on. Your time starts now.
All right, my movie is the modern film Avatar, made by James Cameron.
Ooh, Cameron.
Yes, James Cameron.
Ooh, James.
Yes.
That's my dad.
He was the movie itself was nominated for Best Picture. It was nominated, or he was nominated for Best Director. Both of them lost to The Hurt Locker, and
Is that a dig?
a little bit.
Slight dig.
Yes. So the movie takes place on a different planet, so that's why I chose it for space.
We'll
because
comment.
it's not Earth.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think this movie is fantastic in the sense that it has a deeper meaning to the plot, to the story. It's not just like humans trying to take over a different planet, but it also has like themes towards how Americans treated Native Americans. It has themes towards how we treat the environment, how we tear up rainforest and whatnot. It has all these deeper themes and still brings us in with just the basic plot, which is almost a romance to an extent, where Jake Sully falls in love with whoever Zoe Saldana plays in the movie. I don't know the actual name of the character, but
Neytiri.
thank you.
Neytiri.
That's why we got a fact checker over here. And
Thanks, Icebox.
Thank you. You're welcome.
this movie, I think, it brought modern films into the next generation of movie making, the way the original Star Wars, which is what Joey over here will talk about in a few minutes.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry. That Star Wars, the first Star Wars did for movies in the 70s, Avatar did for movies in the 2000s, where the technology that was created and used in this movie propelled the next generation of movies, including Gravity, which was a Best Picture nominee and one of Icebox's favorite movies. Shout out to Top 50 whenever it gets done. And
Link in comments.
again, whenever they get done. I just think this movie, it's a really good movie. It has a really kind of basic overall plot on top, but with those deeper layers, it adds something to really think about later, like some other space movies don't have. Like they're just, this is the plot, this is what happens. It's one-dimensional. This has multiple dimensions. It has pretty fantastic acting from Zoe Saldana and the weird white-haired dude with the scars on his face, who I can't name off the top of my head.
James Kirk.
Is that his actual name?
No.
Okay. I just think this movie...
Stephen Lang.
Stephen Lang, yes, thank you. This guy's on fire.
Yeah,
right now.
Icebox, you went
You
around.
just give him it. And this movie, I think, is just so important for modern film, much more than many movies that have been made in the last decade. And I think...
1 minute left. Maybe why does it relate so much to space? Why is it a
Okay,
space
well, I
movie?
mean, other than the fact that it takes on a different planet.
Right.
They have to bring people from Earth to this planet because it's not close. It's light years away. Apparently they discovered some sense of travel through light space. Honestly, I couldn't think of a better film to do for space because Star Wars was already taken at the time. And this just kind of stood out to me. Other than that, it doesn't really have anything to do with space.
All right, Joey, you have 5 minutes, and your time starts now.
Jesus Christ. Oh, okay, so we're with Star Wars A New Hope here, the 77 classic. So we're talking about space films. Space film comes up. A New Hope immediately follows with George Lucas as the director, which he actually got nominated but did not win the Best Director for that Academy Award. What they did win, however, they won the Best Costume Design. Pretty obviously. I mean, you have the classic, iconic Stormtrooper. You got Vader. I mean, you got Han Solo in his little fucking vest. And you got Chewbacca, which was extremely well done, if you ask me, especially for the day and age. You got Best Sound, which they won, which the sound of those crews is those TIE fighters, that like screeching, that is a classic space sound. Classic space sound. Not to mention that a lot of the time in Star Wars, they're actually flying through space, unlike Avatar. Well, we have also Best Film Editing, Best Effects and Visual Effects. This is something I wanted to touch on because if you're doing a space film, you damn well better have some laser shooting guns in there too. Something to do with lasers. You got the technology to fly around and have star cruisers and warp speed going to different dimensions of the universe. Then you're gonna have to have lasers. Come on, they had the laser beam guns for the time. It was extremely well done. The lightsabers are also an icon of fucking classic space movies. And you got the classic lineup: Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill. They really the fucking triple threat of space movies, I guess you could say. I mean, you think I'd also like to bring up characters because you're talking about people in space. I think many people would refer to pretty much any Star Wars character over an Avatar character when referring to a space movie. Also, the way that they have different planets to actually really like bring you into the whole illusion that this is a whole expansive galaxy, and we're not just seeing one planet that's far away, which could be related to space. You see planet in space traveling to another planet, and then you see that, and I mean it really like shows you that this is there's no doubt in your mind that this is a space movie, basically. Also, what I mean, space movies, what they're really trying to have is really pull you into another world, which I think that Star Wars, with its storyline, really does. The Jedi and just the whole story of the Empire oppression across the whole galaxy. I mean, you're really like seeing the deeds and Darth Vader and the Empire really doing around the galaxy. I mean, none of it's good. So you're really like feeling for the people of the Star Wars galaxy, I guess you could say, and you're really rooting for the rebellion to come out on top. And once again, I gotta say, with the costumes, even like the alien rebels, if you're in space, you're also gonna have alien. They did a tremendous job. You got the commander, the little, I don't know his name, but the little red dude with a weird looking mask. It's just all around like ties in everything that you would really think to look for in a space movie. Space, ships, aliens, lasers. I mean, different planets is a really important thing I also think of, because, I mean, as opposed to Avatar, there's just like one planet. I mean, you could kind of debate that it's not even a space movie at all, but it's neither here nor there. Overall, I think that this is a lot more, like, thought of and iconic to pop culture as space film. I mean, again, you ask somebody about a space film, 9 times out of 10, New Hope's going to be the named space film. And if not that, I'd say Apollo 13 above Avatar. Anything like that. Overall, it's just a really great film, iconic film, a template space film, if you will. And there's just nothing that really stands above it.
Okay. Sounds good. That was actually pretty close to 5 minutes, so we're going to stop the timer here. Damon, you are up for rebuttal. You're going to have 2 minutes. Your time starts now.
All right. So A New Hope is a fantastic movie, although I think character-wise in that movie, none of the characters are really as deep as they are in the sequel to the movie, which is, good God, never mind. Because I can't remember off the top of my head anymore. Yes! Empire Strikes Back. Thank you.
No wonder you didn't even
Icebox.
think of Star Wars for space.
I know. I should have just picked the second one, but I'm not a douche. And so no one thinks of A New Hope as the first like space movie. Everyone thinks of Empire Strikes Back. So you're just talking on your ass on that one. And the story with A New Hope is literally just one-dimensional. There is nothing deeper. It's the whiny-ass little kid has to learn how to be an adult and save the universe, where the same thing generally happens in Avatar, but then there's the layers on what the meaning of the movie is. So, honestly, like, I can't shit on A New Hope too much, but I feel like it's just so one-dimensional that Avatar is slightly better. Not to mention Avatar also won some Academy Awards, including
They are?
Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, so I don't think Star Wars won that, and Best Visual Effects, and was nominated for 9 in total. It also, I don't know if you know, is the highest grossing movie of all time worldwide.
I did know.
So, I mean, obviously people like it, and there is space in it, so,
Joey, you have 2 minutes. Your time starts now.
Alright, so really what I want to hit on is when you were talking romance and the deeper story, this is space, man. Nobody wants to get into romance. We want to see lasers, we want to see ships, we want to see craziness, crazy technology, crazy creatures. We don't want to see no heartfelt love on love. Like, we really don't. And to mention, if you think about it, it's a human-alien crossbreed, so I mean, that's a little freaky. Second up, I'd like to point out that they did win the Oscar for costume design, which I don't think Avatar did.
they weren't costume design,
And so,
visual effects.
again, they got all the iconic things you would see in a space film. And if we go back and listen, I think you will hear Damon admit himself that this movie doesn't have much to do with space. I believe you said that. I wrote it down when you did. You admitted yourself it does not have that much to space. Where opposed to Star Wars, you know it's about space. It's its own galaxy, and it pulls you in and shows you that when they're going through space and onto these different planets with this crazy tech. Like, I really can't say that they don't have crazy tech in Avatar, but as opposed to The Best Hope, or A New Hope, is really probably the first space movie that people think about, because without A New Hope, you're not going to have Empire Strikes Back to even think about. So, I mean, I really should have taken that into consideration, I feel like.
Empire Strikes Back is a superior movie.
On top of that, saying about the story, I mean, we always think about the first ones as they're build-ups. They're really build-ups, but you're forgetting that there's not just Luke in this movie. You're having a Han Solo. I mean, what do you call when he's shooting Greedo in the... I mean, he shoots Greedo. That's character development. This is not just a unilateral storyline about one kid.
All right, gentlemen, that was a pretty good third round. With that said, let's tune in for the third and final time to Scott Icebox Niemi. Scott, anything you caught?
No, it was a clean again. Star Wars: A New Hope did rack in 6 Oscars, where Avatar only got 3. Mm-hmm. Like the phrase of the night, that's neither here nor there.
Just calls us out.
The scores are in.
All right.
And we do have a winner. No need for a trivia tiebreaker this time.
Ding!
We do have a winner. Damon, who do you think won?
Joey,
who do you think won?
I think Damon won.
The winner is actually Damon. And the reason was, I actually scored you guys pretty much the same, except I thought Damon actually did have a little stronger of a rebuttal. He actually mentioned some things that could help him in other categories, such as the fact that it was the highest grossing movie. He talked about the cinematography and special effects, which he didn't actually talk about earlier. With that being said, any closing comments from you, Icebox?
Had Jay Niems dug a little deeper, he would have clearly saw, and I think would be the nail in the coffin, Damon Gumbert's ratings for Avatar. 3.5 on Rotten Tomatoes compared to Star Wars
5 stars.
A New Hope was, it was a 5-star for Damon.
Great episode. For you listeners at home, feel free to follow us. Share this with your friends. We would really appreciate it. Feel free to subscribe. Give us the feedback. Give us comments. Thanks again for listening to Film, Eat Film.
Woo! Woo! All right.